cannot believe what just happened. Oh my God, that was absolutely amazing. And I'm sorry, please forgive if there's any sound in the background. There may be voices. People are not screaming, but they're speaking quite loudly. So I apologize for that. But let me get right into this because this was an extraordinary, extraordinary experience. My gosh. First, let me begin with the fact that this was another case where I stayed up most of the night last night. And so I was up and, I was working on different stuff. And then I laid down, I went to sleep, right? And then I got up again after a few hours. It was like, actually, for me, it was pretty late. I mean, I got up about 8 o'clock or so. And so I got up, went to the restroom, did my thing, came back. I just laid down and I was still very tired. I was just laying down. My eyes were so tired. And let me go through the process with you because this was different. This was so different than it normally is. And I'm still reeling over this. I'm still kind of like, did that happen? This was in my mind. I'm thinking to myself, did that really happen? But it did. It did in some other reality. It was amazing. So I didn't feel that sense of motion this time. This time, there was darkness, and I saw a small, kind of a dot of light. And that dot of light got, let me say this, I was approaching that dot of light, and the dot of light got bigger and bigger. It was a circle. I want you to think for a second about when you look into a camera, if you have that little circle area, it's almost like a place where you can focus or something like that. That's what it seemed like to me. But just think of it as a circle, a white circle that began as a white dot and got bigger as a white circle, kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was approaching it. And in fact, it wasn't that it was growing, it was that I was getting closer and closer to it until finally, I went through. And it was dark in this place. By the way, it was the morning here, but it was nighttime there. And when I came through, I think I was in a school of some sort. And I was walking. And at one point, because I was looking around, I decided to test something. As you know, in my previous few experiences, my last couple experiences, I should say, there was one where I was able to bend a wrench, and then there was another one where I stomped my foot and it went right through the ground. So again, in the spirit of experimentation, in this school, by the way, I should also add that I believe that this school it felt like it may have been like a high school of some sort. That's what I thought it was. It wasn't an elementary school, but it was dark. And unfortunately, I can't share many of the details because I wasn't really focused too much on the surroundings at this point in the school, especially because I decided to see if I could fly. So at one point, I leaped into the air and I was hovering. I flew into the air about midway, and then I was hovering and I was looking down. And oh my goodness gracious, when it happens in the beyond body, when I'm able to do this, when I astral project, that's one thing, and this is something that is expected. But when I do this in the beyond body, when I do it in a reality that is very similar to our 3D reality, that becomes unusual. I think I may have been hovering, oh gosh, maybe the 15 to 20 feet off the ground, maybe more than that. But as I was hovering in the air, I saw these ladies, they were walking. They may have been high school age. I think one had thick curly hair, but I don't remember many details. In fact, they looked up at me and they were, I think, astonished. They were in amazement. They were just staring up at me and, you know, um, kind of like, oh my gosh, you can fly kind of thing. And I was looking down at them and I thought, or I said to at least one of them, I said, well, can you fly as well? Because I thought, okay, we're in this reality. You should be able to do this. One of the ladies, I think the one with the thick curly hair, leapt. She jumped into the air and she went right back down to her feet. So I went down a little bit, well, enough to be able to reach her. I reached down, I took her by the hand, and I lifted her into the air. Now, this is a little harder than you would think it is. It's funny. I mean, if you've ever watched Superman and all these other different things, he just kind of comes in and picks people up like they're nothing. And there was some weight here with this young lady. I had to kind of pull her up, and I held her in my arms, and we were floating there for a while. And she didn't seem to be nervous at all. Perhaps it was quite fun for her. I don't know. And I descended slowly with her in my arms. I descended, and we landed on the ground again. Now, I know there was more conversation. Unfortunately, as I've told you before, I begin to forget these things pretty quickly. That's why I like to get to the computer and tell you about them as soon as it happens. The one thing I do remember was at one point, in whatever kind of conversation we were having some kind of conversation. At one point, I asked one of the ladies, what world is this? Do you know what world this is? She said that she did not know. Now, this was unusual. Normally, someone will say, oh, it's this, or oh, it's that. But she said that she didn't know, which made me think, I thought to myself, well, maybe they're travelers like I am. But if they were travelers like me, then they should have been able to fly. So it was an unusual kind of thing with this. I wasn't sure why it was happening. What I do remember, or, in regards to a conversation, I can't give you the details of the exact words that were spoken between us, but what I can tell you is that there was a problem with this world. Something was wrong. And I'm not sure if I was being told this because I could fix it, I could deal with the issue, or there was something else. But there was not. There was something that wasn't right in this place. And I honestly, I guess I did feel as if I could possibly help. That's, I think, what the feeling was. But after that conversation, there was someone else. There were other people that were starting to come into the school. This seemed to be a scary situation, and I don't know that the ladies hung around after that. I think they may have taken off. I went my way, but I jumped into the air and I was flying. Again, I wasn't flying very high. I don't think people looked up to see me though, because whomever it was that was coming into this place couldn't see me. I remember at least one man that was coming in. Again, this did not seem like a good situation. This actually seemed like it might be a scary situation. I wasn't sure at that moment, but within moments, I have to tell you, I was back. I was back. But this was an extraordinary, extraordinary experience. That's all I can really tell you. Because I'm beginning to find out that I can do things in these places. And that, wow, that is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Anyway, definitely I will let you know when my next experience happens, and what I do. I will continue this experimentation, and please feel free to comment if you have any thoughts. Thank you so much for coming on another journey with me, and until next time, take care.